Would you mind describing your learning experience with us? How has it been in the past 5 days?
Yeah, sure. So I think like the learning experience has been really good because most of it was kind of like hands-on in the sense that like we spent not that much time, which preferably for me was good. I knew some of these things beforehand as well. So I think the most valuable thing for me was just going through like the financial statements and Excel and just learning the small tricks and things because those are the things that like you end up actually using, like you those are the things you have to do on a daily basis. So I was really glad that we were able to go through those things like pretty extensively, and I was able to learn like each aspect and really be able to link how everything fits together. So I think that was definitely the most valuable aspect, just going through everything hands on and having you guys there to give me feedback and like help me along the way whenever I had small setbacks.
If you were to forget everything, just let's assume that there's a magic wand somewhere, trying to make you forget everything that we have done in the past 5 days. What's the one thing that you're going to hold on to that you think is going to be very important or instrumental for you that you're not going to forget ever?
Like I think more than like a thing I learned, it's more of like a skill. Like, when we were doing all of the models, we were trying to be really put checks everywhere, like double check everything, make sure we're using the right references, and then we kept emphasizing like making sure that our assumptions were good. And I think that's like the biggest takeaway for me is just how meticulous you should be when you're doing these statements, because like as I faced like a couple times, just like a small mistake like could lead to a really big error because everything is so interlinked. So it's just being like super super careful about what you're doing and really focusing and putting the time into it. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me.
Amazing. It's good to hear that. So looking at everything in itself, right? Is this a program that you would gladly recommend to your colleagues? You would gladly recommend to your friends, and why would you do that?
Yeah, definitely. Like, especially for like if you're in college right now, what happens is you're given a lot of resources, especially like for people in my position that are interested in finance. There are a lot of resources, but a lot of them aren't very good, to be very honest. Like there are a lot of things that are just bits and pieces here and there. So it's really really hard to get like the grasp of like the entire picture and the a grasp of what is like the method that goes behind all of it. Like I think before this, like I tried to learn some of these things by myself, but a lot of times I felt like I was just kind of like memorizing instead of really understanding what I was doing. So I think I would recommend this course because I think like I got a really good understanding of like how to do valuation and how to model the valuation in a good way. So I think that it's really, really like beneficial to people in like my situation, or even if you're just getting into finance, like anyone that's getting into finance, not just particularly students. Like this gives you a good way to learn everything in like a good way, in a way that's constructive and not really just like memorization.